Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, a movie where Oscar Isaac plays God, Jacob Elordi plays the result, and Mia Goth plays the only sane person in the room. It's gothic, tragic, and yes, it'll make you question who the real monster is. And just wait until you see what they changed from the book, because it's not what you think. Hey everyone, it's Wes from Atomic Cult Media, where we dig into the weird, the dark, and the beautifully broken sides of cinema. Hit that like button and let's go into Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's long-awaited gothic fever dream that's been decades in the making. The film opens on an expedition ship trapped in the Arctic ice, already very Frankenstein-core. The crew finds a half-dead Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein, who immediately starts trauma dumping about how he brought the dead back to life. And no, this isn't your science fair reanimation project. Del Toro's version has the creature regenerating from gunshots, electrocution, and probably bad sequels. But here's the thing, this isn't just another monster flick, it's an operatic tragedy wrapped in lighting and Catholic guilt. But is Del Toro too in love with the monster this time? Hold that thought. And let's talk the cast, because the lineup is absolutely wild. Oscar Isaac plays Victor Frankenstein, part genius, part narcissist, and part that professor who thinks he's God. He's flamboyant, cruel, and yet somehow magnetic. Isaac gives Victor this theatrical arrogance that's hard to look away from. Jacob Elordi plays the creature, and yes, he steals the movie. He's this towering, heartbreaking figure who manages to be terrifying and innocent at the same time. He brings this tragic dignity and sort of this vulnerability that really redefines the role for this version. You can see why Del Toro fought to recast and redesign the role after Andrew Garfield left. And it was worth it. Mia Goth plays Elizabeth, the emotional compass of the film. And in a delicious twist, she also appears as Victor's dead mother. Because in a Guillermo del Toro movie, Freud is basically his co-director. Christoph Waltz plays a slimy arms dealer Henrik Harlander, funding Victor's experiment. Think evil uncle with a money problem and a god complex. Charles Dance returns to the Frankensteinverse as Victor's cruel father Leopold. This man has cornered the market on disappointing dad energy. And you've got Lars Mikkelsen as Captain Anderson, Felix Kammer as William, and David Bradley as the blind man who teaches the creature to read. And Del Toro has been dreaming of making this movie since the 2000s. He said Frankenstein was the pinnacle of his filmmaking dreams, and he kept chickening out because he wanted it to be perfect. And Del Toro has said he doesn't see this as a horror film, but as an emotional story. Now, with it being Del Toro, it's packed with visual poetry, and that's why it makes him one of my favorite directors visually. You'll spot nods to James Whale's 1931 Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and even Bram Stoker's Dracula through its lighting and musical cues. There's also a brief glimpse of the creature watching sunlight through a frost-covered window. A direct homage to Boris Karloff's silent moment of wonder in the original film. But beneath all that, Del Toro's Frankenstein is really about creation and guilt. It wrestles with the original Shelley themes. The arrogance of man, the loneliness of being rejected, and the moral cost of creation. Even 2 centuries later, Frankenstein is still the story of what happens when humanity plays God and forgets to clean up the mess. This was one of my most anticipated films of the year. This along with Superman, because Del Toro's gothic fairy tale vibe is just tailor-made for a great Frankenstein adaptation. It's beautifully grotesque, equal parts painterly and horrifying. There's like resurrection scenes in this that are quite just absolutely disturbing, but they're shown in just such a unique and artistic way that's almost like beautiful in a way. Like a piece of art that just came to life, but still just gave me chills. Oscar Isaac is phenomenal. He's arrogant, self-destructive, and almost gleefully cruel. But you can see that sliver of obsession eating him alive. I feel like Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein in this is even more antagonistic than he is in the book. And Jacob Elordi, though, he is the movie. His creature is tragic and strangely noble. It's redefining the role completely. You can feel the pain in every moment he tries to understand what it means to exist. In Mia Goth, she brings grounding empathy to all this madness. Christoph Waltz, he adds that right amount of sneering capitalism to make Victor's fall even sharper. The story takes its own liberties, and they mostly work in the context of a film versus book, with it having a story with more forward momentum. But some of them do have some drawbacks, which I'll go into. If you're enjoying this review, hit that like button and maybe subscribe. Hit that join button below if you want to support the channel a little further. Also, if you're on mobile, hit that hype button. It really helps small channels like this. And drop your favorite Frankenstein version in the comments. Are you Team Karloff, Team Brana, or Team Del Toro? Now, some of the drawbacks, I think Del Toro might love the creature a little too much. The monster barely harms anyone. Almost every violent act is in self-defense. And while that's a fascinating take, it removes the ambiguity that made Shelley's original so powerful. I think he might have went a little too far in humanizing him, because his duality is what makes him such a fascinating character for well over 2 centuries. In the book, the creature shows that it has introspection, but also indulges in petty violence. There's that tension between his humanity and his monstrous side, which is a poetic take on just humankind in general. And there's shortcuts he takes with a lot of the side characters and how they die, which I wasn't a fan of in the movie. It just felt weak narratively, and it leads to one of the characters literally saying that Victor Frankenstein is the real monster, which is a little on the nose. Come on now. And that's a big drawback for me, because you read the book and it makes you ponder and sort of meditate it on a deeper level, rather than just announcing the themes out loud. And some quick differences from the book. Victor isn't just obsessed with science, he's corrupted by greed and ambition. He's a less tragic hero and more morally bankrupt tech bro with a lab. And like I said, the creature, more sympathetic with a healing factor and a conscience. There's no bride subplot, no Clerval, no Elizabeth isn't even Victor's fiance. She's engaged to his brother, William. And there are some notable changes in the ending, which I won't go into. So take those changes with you when you go see this movie, or if you just decide to watch it on Netflix. But overall, I'm going to give Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein 2025 a 4.5 out of 5. It's darkly beautiful, emotionally rich, and yes, my favorite adaptation of this story yet, even though I had some problems with it. It leans a little too far toward the sympathy of the creature, but I was spellbound by the pure artistry of this. Similar to Coppola's Dracula, my other favorite adaptation. It hits hard with the old school Gothic horror, and the performances and look are just amazing. Although I think it strips the main character of its fascinating duality and what it means to be human. I was just enthralled with this film, and I can't wait to watch it again, and I'm so glad I saw it in the theater while it was out there. It's a film that reminds us that the line between man and monster isn't lightning, it's empathy. But what did you think of Frankenstein? Do you plan to just catch it on Netflix? Let me know down in the comments below. Click here to subscribe, but click here to see my other horror movie reviews. Our Patreon's right here. If you want to support the channel a little further, hit that join button down below for our membership tier. Also, if you're on mobile, hit that hype button. It really helps small channels like this. And I'll see you later. Bye.